Suburban Sentinel here in the backyard of the old homestead, having late afternoon coffee with the critters and watching a thunderstorm roll in. This is a continuation of our business mini-series on becoming a preferred customer of a business. Just to recap, a preferred customer is one who gets extraordinary or special treatment from a certain business, industry, or group of businesses. Preferred customers are ordinarily measured by the amount of revenue and or profits they generate for the business, but that is not necessarily the case. There can be other ways of getting special treatment. There are a variety of reasons why one would want to become a preferred customer of a business. First and foremost, it's generally the right thing to do. It's good to treat people well. Number two is that preferred customers most often get better service. Finally, some businesses go to extraordinary lengths to help their preferred customers. And in the first video, we had an extreme example of that. I encourage you to watch that video, and I will leave the link in the comment section below and on the screen here. That storm is really coming in. In this video, we are going to talk about how to become a preferred customer of a business, whether large or small, without spending gobs and gobs of money. I'm going to cut this off here because we're about to get pounded with yet another rainstorm. So I'll pick this up shortly, I hope. Okay, we are back. Storm finally passed. It's just about dusk. Perhaps some of the deer will come by while we're filming here. And when we left off, we were talking about ways of becoming a preferred customer without spending tons and tons of money. In my opinion, one of the best things you can do to build up a good working relationship with a business is to respect people's time. Now, you've probably heard the phrase, time is money, and I certainly won't argue with that. But actually, I think that time is more important than money. I know 1,000 ways I can make more money, but I haven't figured out one single way to make more time. I will not do business with anyone who makes a habit out of wasting my time. By way of example, I have a friend of the family, and I'm not going to use his real name. Let's call him Waldo, which is actually the name of one of the turkeys in residence here. In conducting his business, this is how Waldo operates. If he needs to hire a service provider, first what he'll do is he'll contact 6, 8, a dozen, 20 of them. Of course, there's nothing wrong with shopping around, but when you start getting over 6 or 8 service providers, it gets a little crazy and it starts to waste time. Not even their time, his time is what I'm talking about. Waldo will then spend a huge number of hours contacting each service provider and asking literally hundreds of questions about the services they provide. And it's not out of ignorance or curiosity or due diligence. Oftentimes what Waldo is doing, he's trying to get free information from the providers so that he can do the job himself and save the money. Assuming he does not have sufficient information to do the job himself, he will then spend weeks, if not months, playing one service provider off the other on pricing and delivery terms. At that point, almost all of the good service providers drop out because, quite honestly, they don't need that crap. So Waldo is then left with second or third rate service providers that he's haggling with, usually overpriced. Once Waldo hires one of these poor fools, Waldo will stand over them, watching them every second as they do their job, questioning everything that they do. Once the job is completed, Waldo will then moan about the price, how he doesn't think what they did was worth the money that they agreed to, etc., etc. And if that's not bad enough, he will later call the service provider and complain about something or other with the job, even if there are no real problems. Needless to say, no legitimate business wants anything to do with Waldo, so he has a very difficult time finding someone to provide the services he may require. In my opinion, Waldo's unforgivable sin is that he likes to waste people's time, including his own. So, how do we respect people's time? First, keep things short and to the point when you're conducting business. Second, honor people's time. If someone is spending their time for my benefit and they don't ask for or demand compensation, I reciprocate anyway. Of course, there must be some value to it for me to do this. If someone is just blabbing on about some nonsense, I don't feel the need to reciprocate. But if I feel like I'm getting value from someone spending time with me, at the very least, I like to send a thank you note. If the person is local and they are not charging me or billing me for their time, I will invite them out for lunch. And that is a nice token of my appreciation. Second way of becoming a preferred customer is know the difference between being particular or fussy and crazy. I was at the car wash the other day and they do some express detailing. And there was a guy there who had just had his car detailed. And he's complaining to the manager that after they detail his car, they don't return the vents, the little plastic vents that for the air conditioning and heat, to the exact position he had them in before he took the car in to be detailed. Now, I know the manager at the car wash. He's a hell of a nice guy, and he was very nice to this gentleman. Personally, I would have told the guy to go piss up a rope because I don't want to do business with those kind of people. Third way of becoming a preferred customer is not to quibble over a few dollars. If a business treats me well and their prices are reasonable, I am loyal. If someone undercuts them by nickels and dimes, I don't go elsewhere. That's how we ended up with Walmart taking over this country. Business is all about give and take, and when you give more, in general, you get more. I have never heard one person extol the virtues of Walmart's great service. That company has become extremely successful at creating an American underclass and burdening the taxpayers with social service bills. Fourth way of becoming a preferred customer is to show your appreciation. If it's a small business and they've gone out of their way, I'll send a token of my appreciation. It doesn't have to be an extremely valuable item. Sometimes a gift card, a thank you note, whatever. When it's appropriate, I'll duke some of the rank and file employees a few dollars for going out of their way for me. In addition, if I'm treated exceptionally well, I will send a thank you note to the company headquarters and or the HR department detailing who was providing good service, the nature of the service, and when it was, so that they will either get a pat on the back or at least some recognition of their efforts. Fifth way of becoming a preferred customer is to send qualified referrals to that business. In other words, become part of the marketing force of that business and send them more customers. Now, I'm not talking about customers like Waldo. Send them qualified referrals, and that are people who are reasonable and pay their bills. Essentially, keep your eyes open and a list of the people you like doing business with in the back of your head. For example, I have a very, very good electrician, and if I run into someone who is complaining about either their electrician being no good or having electrical problems in their home or business, that little bulb goes off saying, wow, I can refer this person to my buddy Tommy. In fact, I make it a practice to carry the business cards of my favorite providers and businesses in both my car and my briefcase. So, for example, if I know someone needs an electrician, I will have my electrician's business card on me. And he gets a fair amount of business just from that. He's a terrific electrician. I have no hesitation about referring people to him, and I have become a preferred customer of his, and carrying his card does not cost me one dime. A sixth way of becoming a preferred customer is to make doing business with that company or entity easier. Now, what I'm talking about here applies almost exclusively to smaller businesses. So that is the focus here. Now, I'm sure some of you out there know how difficult it is to run a small business. And many small businesses, if not most small businesses, all have three similar problems or challenges. Those are cash flow, collections, and marketing. When you run a small business, money comes in and money goes out. One of the biggest challenges is to make sure that the money coming in is sufficient to pay the expenses going out in a timely fashion. A related topic is collections. Businesses often have to wait to be paid for goods sold or services rendered. And waiting for payment again affects cash flow, and sometimes customers don't pay at all. And that can be a big issue, especially for micro or small businesses. Another huge challenge for small business is marketing. Big companies with big advertising budgets can splash their message everywhere at will, and they tend to drown out the little guys. The little guys have to be creative in getting their message out to potential customers. Believe it or not, you as a customer can help the business overcome, or at least contribute to overcoming, those three almost universal small business challenges. But it's getting dark, so we will explore that in yet another video in this series. It appears that the critters were waiting out the storm longer than I was, so I didn't see too many around here, but it is getting really dark. So we're going to cut it off there. Thanks for watching. This is the Suburban Sentinel. Please thumbs up and subscribe if you like what you see. Questions and enlightening comments are always welcome. Be safe and be well, everybody.